I'm so glad you found my channel, Sweet Uniquities, where everything I do here is always sweet and custom, making it a true uniquity. Today I am leaving the kitchen, jumping into the garage, and turning this old piece of furniture into something that I like much better, into this piece of furniture, using a faux marble technique. So let's jump into today's project. So here is my piece that I'm going to redo. I've had it for so many years, probably like 21 years, 22 years, I don't know. It's really solid, but it just doesn't go with my decor anymore. So let's see what we can do with this. I started by wiping down the piece and taking off the hardware. Next up is primer. I primed the entire piece. Next up, I used Valspar's Cracked Pepper Black Paint, and I painted the first coat. For my piece of furniture, I did need 2 coats of black. My producer and my accountant insisted on being in the garage with me the entire time I did the project, so they sat in the car while I did the work. They're useless, but so cute and super supportive. I used 2 coats of white paint, and this paint was just paint we had from, it was like interior paint. We had it from when we painted our home. And now for the fun part. I took just acrylic paint I bought at Target, and I mixed it with water, equal parts. I will link the colors down below, and then I took a sponge and then decided later that the bag was easier, but I just took a sponge and I just kind of from right to left, I just patted and kind of pat drag all across the top of the white. And of course the white was completely dry before I did this. This gives the depth that you get from marble. So that's what I'm doing here. Do you dig my pants? Then, using the technical term wadded up grocery bag, I just went across it and just kind of tapped it just to kind of take off some of the paint. Just a little kind of tapping. And then I used a really damp rag and cleaned up the edges. I should have taped them off, but I didn't. I was in a hurry. I was excited. I watched a lot of videos to get the technique on this, and so I will link those down below. There were 2 that kind of inspired me on how to do this, but just, you know, I think this is the second color. I did a deeper color of the gray, and you're just gonna have to play with it. There's no really right or wrong here. The main thing is that you just tap it, and you want everything to seem kind of organic and not real structured. So I just used, you know, the rag to pat off some of the color. I used the little baggie that I had scrunched up to tap and drag and move color around so that I had what I wanted. And here I'm just taking, again, that little cloth, and I'm just kind of picking up a lot of the paint. And this is what it looks like right now. So you kind of see, I hope you can kind of see, the lighting wasn't great, but you can see the depth that just, you know, that paint gave, which was cool. Now I'm taking white paint that I have mixed with more than half water. I would probably 1 part paint to maybe 2 parts water, maybe 2.5, 3 parts, and I'm just a real soft white glaze over what I just did, just to make it seem more soft, I guess you could say. And so once you get that done, you don't let it really dry. You're going to start picking that up too. And one of the ladies I watched, she said it's like you want it to look like kind of like it's underwater. So you just want it real, you know, soft and organic. And you are definitely working pretty fast. This stuff dries quickly, so no worries on that. You got to work fast, have all your supplies together. And here's what it looks like when the white is over it. So it's a little more muted, a little more soft, but then you want to like pick it up, you know, with the rag. So here I'm taking the rag and getting a clean spot, and I'm just dabbing it. Dab, 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 so that you're picking up the white, because you don't want it to be completely covered. But again, you kind of just made a glaze. it's not, you know, pure paint. It's mostly water with a little paint. So you're just kind of picking that up so that you can see your color of your, you know, the beginning of your marble. Confession time, I'm so nervous right now to add these veins because I did not want to mess this up, but I'm using Dollar Tree feathers. They're very flimsy, and you probably want to practice a couple times on some paper. And it's not a bad idea to look at a picture of marble or pick up some at a hardware store so that you have an inspiration. You can actually see what the veining looks like truly in nature. But the main thing is that you don't want it to go up and down. You want it to kind of go left to right, and have some motion and movement from left to right, because that's how marble and granite look like in real life. So keep that in mind. The paint that I'm using, again, it's just acrylic paint from Target, and I have it watered down like 3:1. So there's very little paint, a lot of water, and I just kind of do a kind of a shaky line, but not I let the feather just kind of hit the piece of furniture as it will. So you can go over it again, and I will tell you, I had one area that I thought was just horrible, and it wound up looks good. So you can kind of correct your mistakes. So don't be too worried about it. Now I'm just tapping over that the veining, and again, it dries really quickly. So just tap over it just to kind of soften it. But look, guys, look how cool this is. I was kind of amazed. You're gonna want to tap over the veins with that very diluted white, because you don't want the paint sitting right up on the surface. So just kind of tap over it with a fresh, you know, wadded up grocery bag or a chip brush, and it'll look great. I think it's really important to note that if you don't like an area, you can fix it, because I'm just telling you, I hated this whole area. It looked too, I don't know, weird. There was something about it, it just didn't look good. I thought the rest of it looked really pretty good, but there was something icky I didn't like about that. So I took the full concentrated strength of my white paint, and I rolled over this area, and it didn't cover it completely, but it really softened it. But how I made it really change the look is I came back in with the wadded up the grocery bag, and that light gray mixed with water, and I just kind of tapped it around in here again, and then I rolled over it with the white again, and it really brought some depth and just a better look to it. So everything, I've heard people talk about it, it looks kind of like it's underwater. It looks like there's a little bit of movement, if that makes sense, but I apologize. I know that the lighting out here in this garage is terrible. But don't, if you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, I hate it. It just looks like a 5-year-old did it. I think you can probably work with it. Just keep playing with it till you get a look that you like. So Maximus, what do you think of this project? Maximus, what do you think? Is this a good project? Are you over it? Okay, he's over it. So off to Hobby Lobby to get my knobs. I'm so excited. I'm gonna grab some knobs, some hardware, and I'm going to get some kind of glaze or prime, something to put on top to kind of protect it and maybe add a little shine, because right now it is kind of dull. And to me, granite and marble, they're shiny. So we're gonna bring some shine to this. We're gonna get some hardware, and we're gonna get moved into the house and get it put together with my stuff. So I'm so excited. Hope you guys are enjoying this project. I would love it if you would subscribe. So why don't you do that now? It's a great time to do that. I didn't love the gloss that I used, but I will link it down below. I wanted to do something that was a spray. I had seen that some of the different sealants can cause white to turn yellow, and I was trying to avoid that. So anyway, you do your own research on maybe how to seal the top, but overall, I'm really happy with this project. So here it is in my dining room. I just love the way it turned out. It actually looks a lot more cream colored in this picture, but it is definitely more white in real life. I would love it if you would come back and see me again, and the best way to do that is to subscribe. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. So in the meantime, have a sweet and unique day. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video, and we'll be back in the kitchen, really where I belong. So we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.